Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and this is the CROM Extra Deep Metric Socket Set. We've got 8, 10, 12, 13, and 14 here. Now this set sells on Amazon for about 25 bucks. One of the reasons I'm bringing it to your attention, well, first is it's a highly affordable, great quality 3/8 drive, 120 millimeter long extra deep socket set, but it's also not going to be available in the future, at least for a while. CROM said that they aren't going to be selling it soon, so they've got some stock left. And I'm kind of curious, are you guys going to buy the rest of the stock? You know, the remaining pieces they have. They're going to continue, and I've got a couple other CROM tools. Notice I'm pronouncing it CROM now instead of CROM. Before it was like CROM is what was in my mind, you know, like read-only memory. In computers you'd often have like, you know, DRAM and stuff like that. So I just immediately thought CROM, CROM, but it's CROM. I apologize to them. But anyway, so it's available. I'll put a link below. I don't know how long they'll last. Great case. I mean, when you think about some of these tools, just having a good solid case that doesn't waste a lot of space is worth price of admission. But anyway, the snap-on ones are great, but they're, you know, one extra deep socket is almost twice the price of this entire set. Also, the snap-ons are all 1/4-inch drive. Now, I actually don't mind that because this is one of my favorite setups. You all know that. But it's so easy to either use a snap-on or any other brand of ratchet to run one of these extra deeps. The extra deep, what I like about them is there's this control issue that sometimes comes up with smaller sockets. And for reference, here we've got a shallow, a semi-deep, and a deep. These are all 8 millimeters, and this is the CROM 8 millimeter. So, you know, think about that. But anyway, just having the ability to guide the socket at the socket end rather than at the ratchet end seems to make a difference. And then holding it rather than an extension or, you know, just the control. It's a different feeling. I like it. I like the use of these. You can see, obviously, pop this off. You can see all the way down, so there is a fairly deep channel that you could run a bolt out. It's not necessarily as much like a pass-through. It could be with a threaded rod, but they're not designed quite for that. Anyway, you can see, like, here's the largest, 14. This is what a snap-on 14 looks like, I believe. Yeah, so you can see it's even longer, a little bit bigger than a snap-on 14. Any Harbor Freight ones. Here's a couple of Quins. You can see in these Quin Extra Deeps, pretty wild, pretty heavy. These are also 3/8 drive. So if you're interested in, you know, another comparison, that's kind of what we're looking at. A lot bigger. But anyway, 25 bucks. When you think about it, for 5 sockets, $5 a piece. You know, in a free case, that seems like a screaming deal. There are obviously more companies looking into the extra deep socket realm. It is kind of a unique tool, and I would think it's only unique because, you know, we're often trying to run a smaller tool. You know, something, you know, this is what you'd sort of expect would be on the end of a ratchet. You know, a little, I guess, yeah, this one, this little 8 millimeter here. So then running something like this, a completely different world. And I think it just takes people a while to get used to it. And it is, in a lot of ways, considered a specialty socket as well. It's used in, you know, certain aspects of certain car brand repairs or modifications. So that also might, I think, slow down the sale, is because people are assuming that this is something that's a special purpose, that you have to have that purpose to have the tool, not realizing that once you start working with a tool, you know, an extra deep, this starts to feel natural. It feels like an obvious way to make something. Most of the time we're thinking clearance, trying to get minimalism, you know, but most of the time we don't need the clearance. You know, you're working on something else. I honestly, I love them for batteries. Gets the tool way far away from the battery if you're working on terminals or in, you know, the battery tie-down clamps, things like that. That's where you notice it. Sometimes just moving the hand further away that's doing all the movement. You know, you have plenty of room for the socket, but now you're banging your hand around in somewhere, and that just gives you a little bit more. But anyway, I'll put a link below. Once they're gone for a while anyway. But it seems like CROM is really, you know, giving us a treat with these extra deeps for 25 bucks. High quality. Here's the package. You can see what we've got, and it is made in Taiwan, like a lot of things are these days. There's the part numbers of the individual sockets. You can see that. Scan for more info should you want that. Chrome vanadium, 4.72 inches or 120 millimeters. Just outstanding tool. But anyway, I'll be doing more with CROM. Thought I'd put this out because, well, when it's gone, it's gone. Sorry about that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. And with that, Doc out.